Hello, nice to meet you again and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to start to talk about Oracle Utilities. So Oracle Utilities is actually a full suite of software covering different business functions, for example, retail utility business, grids, network management, and energy saving programs. So technology-wise, I have seen a few technologies like Lodestar, where the quotation management is based on, and OPower, which was acquired by Oracle for this energy saving program, and most importantly, it's a set of applications sitting on top of the Oracle Utility Advanced Framework, OUAF, that include CCNB, customer care and billing, and MDM, meter data management, together with other smaller components like SGG, Smart Grid Gateway, and asset management, for example. I actually started working in Oracle on Lodestar. So the first project was a forecasting solution for INC customer using quotation management. This is the platform where actually MDM originally sits on, and given the very powerful functionality and platform of OUAF, MDM was migrated in 2010. It was a great pair with CCNB since then, because they give a complete back office solution for the utility supplier. Why I'm talking about back office, because these days there are more and more kind of front end application, CRM. We will talk about that in the other videos. Okay, so let's go back to CCNB and MDM. With a trend of smart metering rollout, there are quite a lot of utility customers, utility companies, they actually choose these two products from Oracle Utilities. Particularly with the industry change, at one point, nearly all the European countries has mandate to install smart meter by a certain date. So both CCNB and MDM, they were sold very well during that period. Later, with the cloud revolution, so two new versions coming out. One is called C2M, customer to meter, and it is a PaaS-based software, which means platform as service, as a service. So what that actually means is the customer, they don't need to manage their IT team. They can literally move the Oracle Utility application onto the cloud, and they don't have to physically maintain the servers as well, etc., the hardwares. And another version coming out is called CCS. So that's Customer Cloud Service, and that's based on SaaS, Software as Service. So there are new features and improvement not only on the functionalities but also upgrades to the core OUAF framework. We'll talk more in details in terms of the framework in the future videos. Okay, so for a lot of new joiners I have met before, they ask me without knowing all the details, what are the areas they should know or improve to start with. I think there are loads of things you should know just to help with your work, but I think there's three things I think they are most important ones. The first one is Oracle database and SQL we call it. Since Oracle utility is from Oracle, normally it sits on top of an Oracle database. SQL is kind of the universal language for developer to talk to a database, and in this case it will be the PL SQL. So many tasks, including say data investigation or manipulation or even data preparation for a test, will heavily dependent on your SQL skill. So that's the first thing I think it's important. The second one is Java. Both CCNP and MDM, they actually sit on a massive library based on Java. Although recent years, in order to say improve the system availability and the idea of low code or no code reasons, the scripting becomes more favorable. However, still, the majority of the functionalities are still available in Java, and because of that, unless you build a layer of connectors to call from the scripting to the Java classes, in a lot of cases you will actually find the developers need to debug when they face an issue. They need to understand what is the functionality within the system, behind the scene. They have to face Java issues in the log. So you have to understand for example, if you see a log with Java errors, you need to understand what that actually means and where it's coming from, how to trace back to the code and see where the problem is. So I would say Java is the second thing. And the last one, which I think is actually an important one. Not many people talking about it, but the last one I would say is something called XSLT and XML. Okay, so the reason I'm saying that is within the framework, within OUAF, most of the messaging between the application server and database server, for example, the data layer within the application server is actually based on XML. Initially, let's say the protocols for external system for both inbound and outbound, they are based on the XML format, SOAP protocol. And the new interface layer of JSON was introduced later, but that didn't change the internal messaging layer. So between the database and application server, if you are writing scripting language, or if you are looking at the UI, most of the data was presented in XML format. So let's take an example. When you are writing, when you start to write the code in script, actually the first thing you need to understand is something called XSLT, which is the language to traverse through XML and also manipulate the data in the XML format. And also, if you look at the UI, the UI in the system is based on is using UIMap. That is also using XML format of data, and also the metadata layer in application server, when the database information, database records or fields being read into the application server, they are presented by the business object. They call it. That's the presentation for metadata objects. They are also based on XML. So I would say, in my opinion, for a developer, it is probably more important to quickly learn this part, even before Java. Okay, so these are the three things I think are most important. Of course, there are other skills will benefit your work. For example, COBOL. The framework initially was based on COBOL, although now COBOL is pretty much behind the scene. Not many people coding COBOL anymore, and also you probably won't see errors in COBOL layer directly. Probably they all handled now by the Java layer. And another new language introduced to replace Java is Groovy, which you can now write your logic in Groovy and plug into the system without. It's very much like a scripting language, but it is not very. I don't feel there's sufficient tool given by the framework for developer to write Groovy easily if you don't know the Java library very well. Okay, so these are the things are good to know, but it shouldn't be the priority if you just start. Okay, so with all that said, I hope you have some idea about the product, and I hope you have a picture of what lies in front of you as you're just about to start. So from next video, I will be moving onto the framework OUAF, and I would like to have your questions, and I can answer those questions within my video as well. Otherwise, I will pick some questions raised to me before, and I will try to illustrate them in these videos as well. Okay, so if you find it is useful, again, I would ask you to subscribe to your channel, share to your friends and colleagues if you find it's helpful for them as well, and have a good weekend, and see you next week. Bye.